in this weekend of resistance coming up, I'm putting out a little appeal here, let you think about it, that there are people coming down from Dundee and Aberdeen to go on October the 1st march, and St Andrews, yeah, but we definitely know some people through Right to Work come down from Dundee and Aberdeen who are then leaving with us on a Sunday morning to go to Manchester. So if you've got a spare room, spare bed, want to show solidarity in that practical sense on Saturday evening, then come and see myself or Dave Sherry then the meeting. That's okay. Dave mentioned the students and the student revolt, and certainly was coming up to about November, so almost a year ago, that the students went down, protested with UCU members, huge numbers, massive numbers, unexpected, 15,000, and actually showed the determination for a generation of people to see that education is a right, not a privilege. And I still think of it with absolute joy and inspiration. And with that in mind, I'd like you to give a warm welcome to our next speaker. Ruby's a first-year student, new to Glasgow, so welcome Ruby. And before that, though, she's an activist, very involved in the youth and student movement across the country and part of the National Union of Students Executive. So if you give a warm welcome to Ruby Hirsch.
I've just been at the Strathclyde Uni occupation, which was really brilliant. They're occupying to build for the demonstrations on the weekend, which is really good. I wanted to talk a bit about the problem that we've got in this country, which we've had for a long time, but now more than ever, which is the rich. Big business, the bankers, are trying to steal from working class people. They're trying to steal hospitals, schools, benefits and jobs so that they can pay for a crisis that they created themselves. But I don't think that we need to see it as a battle that we're going to lose, because workers and students and trade unionists have got potentially more power than the rich, and we only have to look for the proof in the Arab revolutions of this year. We have to only look to Tunisia. In Tunisia, they had a problem with the looting rich, with the family, Ben Ali, and they got organised. They got organised in workplaces and communities, and they took the streets and they toppled Ben Ali. And we have to look at the Egyptian revolution that brought down Mubarak and his cronies. While we were watching it on telly, I remember I was talking to a shopkeeper near my school, and he said it might have happened in Tunisia, but it will never happen in Egypt. They'll never bring Mubarak down because the state's too strong. And you can see where he's coming from. They had the most brutal police force in the world. Mubarak controlled vast amounts of wealth. It seemed like the impossible task. But when people occupied Tahrir Square and when workers went on strike across Egypt, they brought him down. So why can't we do that here? I think that in Britain, in this country, we have just as much power as the workers had in Tunisia and Egypt, and we just have to realise it. And I think that people are beginning to do that. If we look back to Millbank, when the students... remember Millbank last year, when students and lecturers from across the country occupied the Fat Cat Tory HQ and said, we won't pay for their crisis, and they broke that consensus that there was. That was the start of an awakening, and since then we've seen an amazing growth of resistance. From March the 26th, when 1 million workers marched through London, and to the June the 30th strikes, and now these demonstrations on this weekend leading up to the November 30th strikes, when we might see 3 million workers on strike, which is incredible. We're facing the next battle in that war, and I think we need our side to be stronger and bigger and more militant than ever, to learn from the Egyptian workers that were on strike and the people in Tahrir Square, and to remember the imagination and the militance of the student revolt, and to take that to the streets and to take that to the strikes. Because victory is within our reach, and we've learnt that from the Arab revolutions, so we need to go out there and topple Cameron and overthrow the Tories and overthrow the rich, because we can't afford to lose.